This week, we're going to talk a little bit about ordering and comparing. I actually already had you doing a little comparing, but I was trying to get you to convert the fractions into decimals so that you could compare. You can do it with equivalent fractions, as some of you already knew, or you can use a number line. The number one tip I have for ordering, which is what you would do if you had more than two numbers, okay, compared to comparing, is I would convert them all into the same form. So you're going to notice I have a percent, a decimal, and then two fractions, one of them being negative. Okay, so the first thing that I would realize is it'd be way easier to know all of them if they were in the same form. I prefer to go decimal just because it makes my life easier. You could convert them all to percent if you'd like, or to fraction. But if I were to take a percent and change this into a decimal, which I like, 60%, move the decimal over two places or divide it by 100 to get it out of a percent and back into a decimal, means that this really is 6/10 or 60%. I could add a zero, I don't need to. Okay. I already know this is 75 hundredths. And again, just to go back to the previous one, if I want them all to go to the same place value to make it easier to compare, I can do that as well. Okay. 3/8, I would actually set up a division problem and show 8 going into 3 or into 30, which would happen 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. Subtracting, that would leave me 6. Again, I'm going to need to add some more zeros here. 8 goes into 60 7 times for 56, leaving 4 left over. And then once I bring down that last zero, 8 goes into 40 5 times. So this one is 375 thousandths. So again, if I wanted all of these to the same place, I could add a zero to this to make it thousandths, zero to this to make it thousandths. I'm really just holding a place value to show the similarities. And then the last one, the first thing I'm going to point out is that it's a negative. So I should know positive numbers are greater than negative. This one is automatically the least. If I wanted to convert that, I can use my division again, dividing 1 by 3, or knowing my basic skills, that this is going to be a bar notated 3 because it's going to repeatedly have 1 left over every time. Okay, remembering that as a negative. Okay. On my number line, if I was going to place that, I actually prefer number lines with fractions, so I could divide this up into 3 equal parts. Right, and this first one would be my negative 1/3, or my repeated negative 3 to the 10th bar notated. Okay, so that one goes there. The other 3 are positive numbers, and actually on my number line, they're all going to fall in between here. Okay, I would look at the place value in the tenths because they're all different. If I have one with I'm just going to write the order right now. 3 in the tenths, I know that my 3/8, which is the same as saying 375 thousandths, would come next. And then I would know that a 6 is less than a 7 in the tenths. So my 60% would come next because that was the 6/10, or the 60 hundredths, or the 600 thousandths. And then I would finish up with my last one, which actually was 75 hundredths, the original one that was a decimal. Okay, so from least to greatest, when ordering, convert them all into the same form. Then you can check for place value if you're using decimals. Okay, and then you can go ahead and write them in order from least to greatest, or know which one is greater or less than if you are simply comparing. Hopefully that helped. Okay, and one last reminder here, I did finish up the number line, dividing it into equal parts so it can be more accurate. You can watch this video more than once. If I was talking a little bit too quick, just replay it and see if you can understand converting them all into the same form, and then looking for the first place value, okay, that is different, to help put them in order from least to greatest.